veteran coach. How are you doing tonight? Awesome. So, you started out in 2005, 2006 with the Cleveland Gladiators. Tell me a little bit about that. Las Vegas Gladiators. Mm, awesome. And then after that, you went to the Utah Blaze and you had to deal with the Rattlers. Utah Blaze and the Rattlers was always a. Mhm. Mhm. You had a legendary quarterback in Tommy Grady, correct? Mhm. Yeah. Then you went to the Pittsburgh Power. It like playing coaching in Pittsburgh.
Right, I mean, it's football town, right? So we had a lot of fun doing that, and we were very fortunate that when I took over the team after the second game of the year, they were 4-14 the year that prior to me going there, and then 15-3 my first year in Pittsburgh. So we turned it around. We won a lot of games and had a lot of fun doing so.
Ultimately, why they folded.
Well,
Just.
I mean, obviously the goal's never to fold, but really what happened was there was a split in the ownership situation.
Mhm.
It was owned by a father and son combination, and the father decided that it wasn't in his best business interest, and the son couldn't go it alone. So that's what happened, and since that time, Pittsburgh hasn't had an arena team come back.
Yeah, that's sad. Then you went to the Portland Steel up in Portland, Oregon. How was that?
It was a league run team, so I knew basically what I was getting into was going to be a situation to kind of hopefully patch the boat and find owners. It didn't work out that way, and so that they couldn't find owners, it was time to. Yeah, but Portland's a great football town as well, and a great place to live, and so I think we did a good job of getting those guys going. Unfortunately, we were bounced out by the Rattlers in the first round of the playoffs that year.
Pesky Rattlers.
Yeah, they keep coming back to haunt me
Yep.
every year,
And
huh?
then you went to the Tampa Bay Storm, another legendary AFL franchise.
Yeah, the Storm was one of my favorite teams as well because I got to work with alongside with Derek Brooks, who's a Hall of Fame linebacker from the Buccaneers and a great administrator of the
Mhm.
team, and owned by Jeff Vinik, who owned the Tampa Bay Lightning. And again, when you take over a team that was 2-14 the year before, and then you take them to the Arena Bowl the next year, the turnarounds are just tremendous, and there's just so much fun.
Awesome, awesome. Then you went to Atlantic City, New Jersey for the Blackjacks. What was that experience like?
Yeah, you got another expansion team. So, what I love about expansion teams is you got a clean slate. With the league at that point, it was being run by basically two different groups. Atlantic City had not had arena football before. We were playing in scenic Boardwalk Hall, right on the water, and great atmosphere. A lot of really good players that I'd be in Tampa. We had continuity, and the ownership group was tremendous. But it wasn't viable at that point. When we finished the
Mhm.
2019 season, they talked about extending into the next year, and then the operators of the league at that point decided that it just wasn't what they wanted to do, and then the league went under.
So did you coach with any other teams after that before present day Wranglers?
No, because what happened after that season was over with, I came back. We live in Utah, and I came back to my home, and looking at several opportunities to go to return and coach. I'd coached in the CFL with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and the boss up there was a guy that was a good friend. So I looked at that opportunity, and then COVID hit, and the entire CFL went dark for the season. So that left me basically looking around for another opportunity. I happened to be home in Utah and got offered a high school job there. So I was the head coach and teaching at Juan Diego Catholic High School in my hometown. And I did that for 4 years before the IFL opportunity opened itself up.
And so what was your thoughts on doing the IFL? Did you did your homework and thought it was viable?
Yeah, the IFL's been running for I think 17 years now at this point, and we have 14 teams in the league, and it's very strong. And plus the fact that I've known so many of the coaches that are involved now, and when you have classic coaches like Kevin Guy involved in it, and like Rob Keefe and Les Moss, and all these coaches that I'd been around before, a coach like Mike Davis in Las
Mike
Vegas,
Davis.
uh,
Mhm.
Coach Manas, all these guys that you're like, wow, I know so much about them, and I actually worked with Mike Davis in Saskatchewan, and I coached guys in the AFL. And so when I went down for the championship game last year in Vegas, I just went there to hang out with some of the guys that I knew. Didn't expect that I was going to coach this year in the league, and then there was a movement shortly after the championship game where Coach Moss went up to leave and go to Bay Area, and that created a vacancy here. And the owners called and wanted to interview me, and seemed like a good fit.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you accepted the job and you're with the Wranglers now. And it's a tough season this season. You guys are 1-9, 1-10, but
Oh, at this point we're 1-12, but
one and
thanks for
12.
giving us a lighter load.
But you guys have been you guys took the Rattlers to the ropes. You gave them everything that you had. You could easily have. I've had 3 coaches that have said that you guys could easily have 6 more wins. So how do you?
That's the way it goes in all these indoor leagues, and the IFL is a great league. So you have to
Mhm.
be you're on top of your game all the way through the game, and so we've been in almost all of our games. So there hasn't been a one or two situations where we could. And against the better teams like the Rattlers, it comes down to the last couple plays. Consider that a game that we should have won. We had another game against San Diego, who's 2 games against San Diego where we lost by 3 points or less, with opportunities to win. Same with Vegas at Vegas. A lot of these games they come down to critical
Mhm.
moments, and so far this year, we've been hanging around with these teams and fighting hard, but just not finishing the
Well,
games.
now you can play spoilers, and Tucson still is mathematically alive for the playoffs. So you play them this week tomorrow, right? Home game.
Yeah, that's true. It's a home game for us. We earlier in the game. This will be our third time we've
Third
played them.
time.
Earlier in the season when we played them up here, it was another game I felt we should have won. Plays here and there. We went down and played at Tucson just a few weeks ago, and they handled us pretty good. They jumped out to a big lead, and then we had to kind
Mhm.
of fight our way back through. But they're one of the hotter teams in the league, so we're gonna have to play well to get a win at home.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. You guys will match up pretty good. What's it like coaching Ramon Atkins?
Oh, Ramon's a pleasure. I mean, he's a professional. He comes into work all the time. I just wish we had him for the full season. Unfortunately, he didn't join us until after the midway point of the season because he teaches in the off season. So he's a teacher, and we couldn't get him out of school and to come up here uh, to play in Prescott Valley until school year was over with. And so that was tough for us. But I felt like we've been playing better football since we've had Ramon, and hopefully we can make that happen to continue to have him into
You
next
gotta
year.
respect though that he's a teacher and he's putting his priority. Of course, I wanted him to play with you guys too, but He's a stand-up guy. And then, what's it like
Oh,
coaching?
he really is. I mean, and his brother plays for us too.
Yeah, his brother, offensive line. He's blocker for him, right?
Yeah, yeah. So if you can't get your brother to block for you, I don't know who you
Right.
can, right?
And then, what's it like playing in Prescott? I mean, coaching in Prescott Valley. The scenery is amazing. The amenities. You guys have awesome facilities, right?
Yeah, it is probably the biggest well kept secret in the league, I think, because it's a small town, right? And I'd never been to Prescott or Prescott Valley. I mean, technology to be able to we're in here all the
Yeah. And then you guys.
and we got our bosses here as well. So really good
Mhm.
situation. Um, go ahead.
And then you also have a poker tournament before one of your games. Did you partake in that, or is the team not allowed to?
No, I didn't only because it was too close to game time.
Yeah.
Prep your team and get everything ready and do the things we needed. It just wasn't enough time. Otherwise, I would
Yep.
have thrown a couple
Do you
hands
play
in.
poker normally?
I I play poker. I lived in Vegas for a short period of time, so it was great.
Ever gamble in Atlantic City?
Oh yeah, I mean it's one of the best places to do it. There's been a few places I've lived, and Atlantic City's one of them. Obviously, Vegas being the other one that where the gambling life is vibrant. I can't
Mm.
say that I go frequently when I'm working because you're working too much, but I enjoy sitting down at the table and playing a few hands.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite road place to play? I mean, to coach against.
Well, it's Vegas. It is my favorite place to go because I used to live there. I've still have friends there, so it's my favorite place to go. Probably the most difficult place to go, and it is no secret. And it's down against the Rattlers. Every time you go to Phoenix, it's going to be a battle, and you're going to have fans that know your name and people that are cheering against you hard. So I'd say
Mm.
favorite place Vegas, toughest place has to be Phoenix.
Yeah. Awesome. It was Phoenix, correct?
Yeah, I mean, from time to time, well, even up here in Prescott Valley, it gets really hot. But I'd say, hottest place, yeah, it's just Vegas or Phoenix. I mean,
Mhm.
it's kind of a toss up depending on the week.
What's it like playing against Bay Area and San Diego and the other teams?
Oh, the West is loaded. So let's be realistic about this. Every time you play a team out west, whether that be in San Antonio, be Tucson, be Bay Area, San Diego, these guys they give you their best, and they've got great players, and it's always a battle.
Mhm.
But those two teams in particular, I mean, Coach Keefe used to work for me with the Utah Blaze. He was my defensive coordinator. I've known him for years. I know how well prepared they're going to be at Bay Area. It's a difficult place to play because of their coaching staff and how prepared they are. The only thing you don't have to worry about there when you go play there is crowd noise. But other than that, it's a tough place to play. San Diego, same thing. I mean, the thing about the San Diego staff is they've put together an amazing team this year. When you look at what Taylor's been able to do with those guys, and they're my Cinderella team this year. And we had them on the ropes 2 different occasions, couldn't close them out. They find a way to win. They've been doing that against a lot of teams. They did it against Bay Area just recently. They're just one of those. You find one of those teams every year. I think they're the Cinderella story this year. That's a team that is very difficult to beat. They just keep plugging along.
Yep, they play the Rattlers tomorrow. It's gonna be a battle. I'm excited to see the game, but I'm a little worried too, because of course you're gonna go in confident, but if you go in too cocky, you're gonna get smoked every time, right?
Yeah, it's so hard to play against a veteran quarterback like Nate Davis. So he's going to go in there prepared and ready, and he's going to be he will have seen it, right? And so it
Mhm.
comes down to how the kicking game's going to perform and how the defenses are going to perform. And that San Diego defense is pretty darn stingy, and they get the best kicker in the league. So it's going to be a war. And I know that Kevin Guy and Coach Jarnigan and that whole staff, they'll be prepped and they'll have their guys gassed up. It's just going to be a matter of who plays best and who turns the ball over least.
And then who do you guys play after that?
Well, we got Tucson, then we're on the road to finish our last two games up. We're going to Las Vegas, and then San Antonio is our final game of the year at San Antonio.
They play tomorrow against Tucson? No, you
Yeah, we got Tucson. Yeah, yeah. I think probably Tucson does that. I mean, we're not playing the Rattlers in our last two games, so
mhm.
it's going to be one of those tough things. I mean, I know for a fact that all these Arizona teams battle, us included. They battle you, tooth and nail for 4 quarters, and you better be ready for it. And if you're coming from out of state to come play one of our Arizona teams, you're going to battle the heat. And if you come up here to northern Arizona, you're battling the altitude. So we've got some things in our back pockets.
So if you're if somebody's watching this podcast and they don't know anything about the IFL, why would you tell them to watch the IFL? What draws you to the IFL?
It's the fast-paced football. I mean, when you go to an IFL game, and I don't care where you go, it is like drinking water out of a fire hose. It is just 100 miles an hour. People are attacking every situation. You can score at any point in time, and the fans are rabid. They're into it. The hometown fans know their people, and they know the game, and no lead's ever safe. I mean, you can watch a game, and then all of a sudden, a team's down by 10, and then they score a touchdown. They get a drop kick. They get a deuce, and now the game's tied. And you're like, what the heck just happened? That's just the way the IFL is built. So, all the teams that are involved, including our team, we're never out of these games, and we're always looking forward to pounce on the opportunities to get back in games or to extend leads based on the rules.
To how to do the deuce?
It's a work in progress. I mean, we're trying. I mean, he's hit a couple. Unfortunately for us, he's the third kicker we've had. So we've gone through some
Mhm.
iterations in our kicking game. We've been a really good kickoff return team, but the rest of the special teams have struggled because we have had to change kickers, and it's part of our growing pains. We're really kind of an expansion team when you look at it. We only returned a handful of players from last year's roster, and all of our coaches are new. So, like all the coaches that I work with, I've never worked with before. So
Mhm.
we're in a situation where we're learning each other early in the year. We're learning the players early in the year, and I think we're finally starting to hit our stride, so to speak. But unfortunately, it's been too little, too late for the playoff run.
Kick, you teach them how to do the drop kick as well? That's
Yeah,
a
we try them all
dangerous.
the time. It is tough.
Mhm.
A lot of the guys that are really good at it are guys that have been around the league for at least 1 or 2 years, and they have the ability to launch the ball a little bit better, and the protection is really good. So you have to have that combination, and the guys that are better at it are usually former
And then you
soccer
have
players.
that beast in San Diego, Ernesto Lacayo, that just does it like it's nothing. That guy's incredible.
So one of my
Yeah.
favorites. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Had him in 2016 with the Portland Steel.
Mhm.
So I've known Ernesto for a long time. I tried to get him when the Duke City team went away this last offseason, and those darn San Diego Strike Forces, they pounced on him before I could get to him.
Yep.
So, things happen that way.
You might be able to talk to him about next year if it comes up, but you guys will definitely be a team to mess with next year, I think. Mhm.
For the organization to try to retool this thing. A giant void was left when Coach Moss decided to retool that, and I think we're well underway to do that.
Awesome. So, what do you guys are doing tonight? Are you watching the Bay Area Vegas game?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's going to come on in about an hour here. So what I'm going to do is shut down the office, and I'm going to go back to my apartment, put it on the big screen, and try to learn a few things about what's going on with these teams, and try to get my mind right about what we need to do tomorrow against Tucson.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on and doing a podcast, and I will let you focus on Tucson. So, you have a wonderful night, and we will reconnect in the future.
Thanks for having me on, and all the folks that have texted in. I just want to say hello and love the support you give the IFL, and hopefully we'll run into each other soon. Have a good night.
Thank you. Awesome. You too.
Bye bye.